On tonight's episode, we're going to be making a roasted tomato orzo pasta salad. Let me show you how it's done. Now, the first thing we're going to do is roast our tomatoes. Now here I have a pint of cherry tomatoes. Now you could certainly roast these on like a cookie sheet, on some foil. I prefer a vessel like this. That way all their juices stay kind of contained and don't go everywhere. So, to my tomatoes, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. Just a squirt of balsamic vinegar. And a little bit of salt. Okay. Now I'm just going to give these a toss. And then we're going to roast these in a 425 degree oven for about 20 minutes. At that point, these should be nice and blistered and start to caramelize. Now, while my tomatoes are in the oven, I'm going to prepare everything else that I'll need for this salad. First thing I'm going to do is cook my orzo. Now I'm going to use about half a pound of the orzo. I'm just going to cook this just until it's al dente. I'm also going to make a basil vinaigrette that we're going to top our salad with. So to do that, first I'm going to chop up some garlic, add to that a little bit of salt to make like a garlicky paste, then add to that some fresh chopped basil, and then finally we'll whisk in some oil and vinegar. So here I have my garlic and basil mash. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my bowl here. Then to this I'm going to add a little red wine vinegar, a little mix. Then I'm going to whisk in about 3 tablespoons of our olive oil. Okay, so that's good. Here's our dressing. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside while I additionally chop up 1 cucumber and about a handful of Kalamata olives. And then the battery died. Pro tip, always make sure your camera batteries are charged the day before you're going to shoot. So here's what you missed while we took a little bit of a break. The cucumber and olives got chopped. The tomatoes, they needed about 5 more minutes in the oven. And then once the orzo was done cooking, we drained it and then rinsed it with cold waters to bring its temperature down before we added it to our mixing bowl. Now, back to your regularly scheduled program. So, with everything done, we can begin to assemble. Here I have my cooked orzo. To this I'm going to add my roasted tomatoes, followed by chopped cucumber, and chopped olives. So I'm just going to give this a quick toss. Okay, now with everything nicely mixed in, I'm also going to add about 1/4 cup of feta cheese. Okay, and then finally, our dressing. And that's it. And that's all there is to it. Really couldn't be simpler. There's a little bit of kind of manual labor that goes into this recipe. There's a lot of different steps, but it's absolutely worth it. The whole thing has a lot of different flavors. It's a little bit salty from the feta and the olives. Of course, you have the nice basil kick from the vinaigrette. And the roasted tomatoes really add a nice sweetness to kind of bring the whole thing together. See you next time.